All right. Hey, welcome everybody. It's 7 o'clock. Sci-Fi Distilled. Welcome back, Mary Beth. And we have
Hello.
two people. Hey, Jeff and Crystal Roche. How you doing, guys?
Hi,
Thank you for
guys.
joining us. So this week we're doing one of my favorite superheroes slash franchises is Deadpool, and we're doing Deadpool 2. A while back we did do Deadpool 1, the first.
We did.
And since Deadpool 3 is coming out in July, right at the end of the month, end of July, I think 24th or something like that.
26th or something. Yeah,
somewhere
right in here.
Yeah, we're gonna cover. We figured it'd be a good time to cover this. Hey Sue, how are you? But before we get into that, I think we have news.
I just have a little bit of news. Not too much tonight. Hello, everyone who is here. Happy Juneteenth to everyone. As we here in Massachusetts, we rocked a high of 98 with like a heat index of, I don't know what, 104 or something. And it is still currently in the high 80s where I am. So I hope everyone's been staying cool.
We hit the 90s up here too.
Yeah. In the news, I have 4 pieces of news tonight. In the news number 1, we were talking about Terry Matalas had been tapped to leave Star Trek, and he was going to go over to Disney and do some work on Marvel, on Vision. He has now also been tapped to remake Enemy Mine. We did do Enemy Mine on this show, Rizzo.
With Dayton Ward.
With Dayton, that's right. We did it with Dayton Ward. That's right.
Going, why are we doing this movie? Like wow.
He asked for it. Dayton asked for it.
No, I don't think he did. No, I don't think he did. I think it's just what we stuck him with.
Okay, then I don't know why we did Enemy Mine. Does Enemy Mine need?
It was a good movie in its day.
It was okay.
Yeah.
I think it'll be okay with the remake. I think it'll stand up to a
remake. I think it won't be the same without Louis Gossett Jr. But
I suppose that's true. All right, news item number 2: photos from the Witcher set, the Witcher season 4 set, reveal Lawrence Fishburne. Fishburne? Yeah, Lawrence Fishburne. Blinked on his name for a second there, has joined the cast as a character from the books named Regis. Apparently that is a fan favorite for those who've read the books. I personally have not read the book, so I don't know who this character is. I will stay tuned to find out with the rest of you on Netflix in 2025. So that sounds pretty cool. I mean, you all know Lawrence Fishburne. He played Morpheus in the Matrix series. Yep. Resident Alien. This happened just yesterday. Resident Alien season 4 is a go. The Resident Alien official and the Alan Tudyk, they didn't tweet. They're all on threads now. Alan Tudyk threaded, thanks to the fans for helping make this happen. However, it is shifting. The show is shifting from Sci-Fi to the USA Network. And also, guys, if you want to catch up on Resident Alien, which I highly recommend you do, it's a fantastic show. Very funny. Kind of dark comedy, but very funny. The first 2 seasons are on Netflix.
Yeah.
And then finally tonight, last piece of news, Will Smith. So he just did another Bad Boys movie, and I guess it's doing okay. I think everybody was watching to see how it would do, and I bet you can guess why. But it's doing okay. So he is now slated to do a new sci-fi movie called Resistor. This is based on the 2014 novel Influx. It's a sci-fi thriller that follows a physicist who discovered a device that can reflect gravity. What does that even mean? I don't know.
Anti-gravity.
But look for that. What?
It's anti-gravity.
Oh, it's anti-gravity. The language is reflect gravity. So what does that mean? Yeah, I guess maybe it's
that would be opposite of gravity. It's like magnetic repulsion, when you get the 2 poles together.
Oh, yeah, like magnets pushing against each other. Yeah,
I have no idea. I'm guessing.
All right, that's all I have in the news tonight. What are we drinking, Rizzo? And Rizzo, do you have something to share with the class?
I do have something to share. I wanted to share our good friends from the Inglorious Trexburg. Mark Altman did send me a copy of his book, The 50-Year Mission, and was nice enough to sign it for me. And that was a thank you for helping them out at Trek Ticonderoga, shooting their documentary and stuff. So I just want to give a public thank you to Mark for that. That was a nice thing that was unexpected. Yeah. So as for drinking, again, this is straight from the movie.
Straight from the movie, yep.
Make me vodka and cranberry juice. I know it's called a Sea Breeze, but this one comes with a purse.
Don't make me say it.
Don't make me. So no, so it's pretty easy. This is a pretty staple drink, I think, of a lot of people. You got vodka, cranberry juice, and grapefruit juice. I've seen it with just vodka and cranberry. Oh no, that's a Cape Cod, right?
I thought that was a Cape
If it's just
Cod, but
cranberry
you know
juice
what?
and vodka, I guess just adding the grapefruit juice makes it a
Actually,
sea
not sure.
breeze. I don't know. Anyway, there it is. Pretty simple drink. Tasty. They are tasty if you just want something basic.
It's refreshing, especially very cold. It's refreshing.
Right. So anyway, moving on to Deadpool 3. I mean 2. So this is
Well,
of course,
we'll get to Deadpool 3
we'll
eventually.
get to 3. Well, we don't know anything about 3 other than the trailer, but of course, you know, the best thing about the Deadpool franchise, aside from Ryan Reynolds, is like the only person that can play this part. I cannot see anybody playing Deadpool, at least not at this level.
I agree.
And as you know, he really wanted the first movie, he really put a lot of his own money and really pushed the studio to get that made. And I think that he was quite right to do it. But of course, this is the next movie in the series, and it starts out with Vanessa, who's accidentally shot when some thugs that he was trying to kill end up in his apartment. And of course, he keeps trying to kill himself because he doesn't want to live without her. And that's another thing I love about these movies. He keeps pulling all that 80s songs from those and I think All Out of Love is in there, and which he did in the first movie too. He always pulls these like obscure love songs because he said this is a family movie. As he's murdering people left and right. It's really a family movie.
But this is
which he does get to at the end as to why it's a family movie. So Jim Carrey in his prime, hell no, don't see it. Sorry, Bruce, not seeing it. Nope, I can't see him playing that either. He would play it too goofy. I think what Ryan does so good is he deadpans that fourth wall break. So it's like seamless, like it's part of the movie. Like, I mean, it is part of the movie and it's scripted, but he just does it so seamlessly. Like, you know, and the guy's Abel's explaining his time travel thing, and you know, I only have 2 charges, one to get me here, one to get me home. Well, that's just lazy writing.
That's just lazy writing, and he looks right at the camera. Yeah, so
right.
Yeah, he brings us in on the joke, and he's sharing it with us, the audience, which is what I love. You know what? You're saying he's your favorite. I had no idea who he was before the first movie came out, and he immediately rose to be my favorite. I don't know. Do you even call him a superhero?
Oh, yeah. Well, he was in. Remember, that's why he was in the Wolverine. The character was in the Wolverine movie, and they totally screwed it up. They made him like this weird mute guy, and but in the comic books, he was always wisecracking.
He's the merc with the mouth. Yes.
Yeah. So that's what he was. His character, the way Ryan Reynolds portrays it, is exactly, I believe, how it was in the comic books, or at least close to it. It's that kind of comical, very wisecracking, foul-mouthed, not anti-hero really, because he's not like he'll kill people just left and right. We kind of see that in this movie after Colossus goes and kind of puts him back together because he blows himself up in the apartment trying to kill himself. Which he can't do because he keeps regenerating.
He regenerates,
And so the funniest part is, you know, Colossus is dragging him back to the mansion, the X-Men mansion. They're in a bag because he's just parts, and he's talking as he's in the bag.
Yeah, he's in the bag.
So he puts them back together and you know, gets him to try to be an X-person,
which didn't really quite work out.
He was a trainee, and of course, it goes badly. He ends up killing people,
but it does go badly. But I love him in the mansion, and I love him like rolling around in the chair.
Yeah, he's cruising around in
and that little cameo where they just shut the door.
Right. They're like, how come we can never afford any other than these 2 X-Men? There's always, where's everybody else? And they're behind him. There's like Beast is in there.
Shot. Yeah.
I don't know. There's a couple other ones in there, like closing the door.
It's Beast and the slow-mo guy who I really enjoy. That was shot. So this thing was shot in 2017. It released in 2018. That was shot while they were in post, like not, it was shot a bit later. But what they did is they shot Ryan first and then took the measurements and said, okay, this is where he is. And then they had to match that. But it's seamless. It's really, really good. Chris LaRoche is just saying Reynolds did a family movie if he is very good in it. Yes. You know what, you guys, I've seen tons of Ryan's work at like the Adam Project, and he's amazing in everything he does. And he's very, very capable of going super crazy dirty like Deadpool, or doing like so wholesome, like very, very wholesome, pure, true family.
Even that's the one thing with him as an actor, even though he'll go extremely blue in a movie like this, you don't really see him that way. Like he's still very funny and personable.
You think of him as a good guy.
He did another movie that he did that was an action movie, which we would consider doing, which is the what the heck is it? I'm drawing a blank. The what project? It's somebody's
Adam
name.
Project.
Adam Project, which is not. I mean, it's definitely a family friendly movie up into a point. You know, it's not G rated, but
yeah,
it's not. There's nothing really.
Super,
it
was cute.
So the Adam Project is another one I'd recommend.
He is a Canadian, Bruce.
Yeah,
Canadian.
So,
you mentioned at the top of the show that you were saying how Deadpool 1 had this really small budget. Deadpool 1 had a budget of 58, maybe 60 million. Deadpool 2 is about twice that. So if you're out there thinking, okay, twice that, 60 is like 120 million. That's amazing. That's a great budget for an action film. Actually, no, that's actually still a very tiny budget. So compare that 120 million for Deadpool 2. That's compared to 1 billion with a B for Avengers Infinity War and 300 million for Justice League. So they were about a third, slightly more than a third of what Justice League. They are still doing so much with so little. And I got to commend them for that.
And then here's the thing. This proves that you don't need to spend $1 billion on a film to make a good film. If the writing is good, the acting is good, the directing is good, you can't make up for any of that with more money and effects.
True.
You know what I'm saying? It's not going to make a good. And I think we saw that with films like, what was the one on Disney, the superhero movie that we all hated, or at least me and you hated. That's the cartoon one.
Give me a hint.
Oh, it was the one where they had like Angelina Jolie in it.
The Eternals.
The Eternals, thank you.
Yeah, we all hated that movie.
It was terrible. And it probably had a massive budget. And it was terrible.
Yeah.
So it just goes to show you that, I mean, it seems it shouldn't even be questioned that a good writing and directing and acting, you know.
And Madam Web is another one. Not that great.
Do you know what it made?
I can tell you exactly what it made. It made It made 785 million. So almost $1 billion, probably $1 billion by now.
So, it definitely made its money back for the studio.
Oh God, yeah. 110 million, 780, almost $1 billion. That's fabulous. They did great. They did have there were a couple little hiccups. One was the original Deadpool 1 director was signed on, and he was like, let's make it bigger and flashier. And Ryan was like, no, we have to keep this level that we have where it's irreverent. I break the fourth wall. We are self-aware. It is a very self-aware movie, or a self-aware character, I should say. And he wanted to kind of keep the same flavor. And I guess that director was like, no, let's go bigger, different, a little more stylized, a little more flashy action. And Ryan said no. And you know what? Ryan was right. I genuinely think he was. So
it works perfectly. Like you said, I think the simplisticness of the film, there's a ton of effects and fighting and all that, but it's not this big, huge budget.
It's not Infinity War, that's for sure. I mean,
we're saying it's smart that they never actually. You see his face quite a bit in this second movie, Bruce.
Yeah, you do. You see him
with and without makeup. When he's dead, he's normal.
Yeah, when he's dead, he's normal, and then
he was the whole scene where he got ripped in half by Juggernaut. And by the way, he voiced Juggernaut.
Yes, he did, and he didn't mean. I read a little blurb that said he goes, I was voicing it to lay down. I think he meant that he was going to lay down a temp track, and then they were going to hire. And he goes, and then there's just no more budget, so they just took what I laid down and they modulated it. They made it deeper and yeah.
It
was fine. It worked.
Juggernaut in there because he's not. I mean, he's certainly a character that we've seen before in comics and even some of the cartoons and stuff, but it was just kind of an odd one that they would bring him in. But it was a good one because he is kind of
It is a good one. Yeah. It was an interesting choice. It was a good foil for Colossus, but it was a good balance for the kid because, I don't know.
Yeah, I think it was funny. Well, it was again, find the biggest guy in here and make him your friend.
Make him your
advice, and that's what he did. So that was pretty good. That part
there are other cuts of this. Now, which cut did you watch? Because I just watched whatever's on.
I saw this in the theater. I had a friend of mine.
I think I did too.
We both wanted to see it. We decided to go together. We went and saw it when it came out. And I'll still say I think the funniest part of this movie is the end credits. I think that was the one time that I literally was doing spit takes and laughing out loud hysterically. And I did again when I watched it just the other day. I got to that point and I literally started laughing again, like it out loud, because that is the fun. If you haven't seen the film, as you know, with all Marvel films, you have to watch through the credits.
Yes.
For any little bits that they stick in at the end. And this one is probably the best one ever done.
Can I ask these guys if they remember? Because I'm having a Mandela moment. I don't know if you guys know what a Mandela moment is, but it's something you think you remember, but it may not be real or true. I'm having a Mandela moment. I believe I saw this in the theater, and I thought I saw a post-credit scene where he goes to kill baby Hitler, but then can't or doesn't. Am I misremembering? Does anybody else remember that?
I think you're misremembering, or maybe it's from a different movie.
I'm waiting for everyone to start typing.
I don't remember him ever doing. No, I don't remember that scene at all.
I remember him killing the Wolverine Deadpool.
Yeah,
which was well done.
That was the funniest thing because he doesn't just shoot him once; he shoots him like 6 times.
No, he kills himself for doing Green Lantern, which you guys, I was okay with Green Lantern. I thought it was fine.
Apparently, Bruce is better as Hal Jordan, which I'm sure you're just trying to be funny, Bruce.
I guess. So he kills the original Deadpool. He kills himself for doing Green Lantern. And I thought there was one more.
The last thing he does is he saves Vanessa.
He saves Vanessa first. I think he saves her first, and then he goes off to do
and then he does the other stuff.
But is there another one that I'm missing? I don't know, guys.
It's the only ones Disney showed that I'm. Yeah.
I
don't remember them being anything else.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know.
I was surprised.
Totally having this Mandela moment. Oh my god, you guys!
I'm surprised this was on Disney to begin with because of the type of movie. Both of them. They're certainly not. They're definitely R-rated movies.
Oh yeah, I was stunned to find it on Disney Plus. I really was. But there's a lot of warnings.
Yeah. I mean, the best.
Bruce has maybe deleted scene. Maybe I'll saw it.
After he gets ripped in half by Juggernaut. And he goes, I love that scene when he's talking to the kid. What does he have that I don't have? And he goes, don't say it. Don't say it. Legs.
Legs.
But anyway, he's sitting there and he's with Leslie Uggams again, who's just, again, awesome. And even though she has such a small part, she's like so funny with the blind roommate. And
yeah, I love
kid legs.
Yeah.
He's a normal human, normal adult torso, and just these little cute like toddler legs. Just not their shirt cocking it.
And that, you guys, that was on Disney Plus, and it wasn't edited or pixelated out or anything. It was
and he did the whole. He did the what's the scene from? He's crossing the legs. That was from. I am just
Basic Instinct.
Basic Instinct. Thank you. They did that whole scene. So that was really that one. There's so many little funny things, like when they're going out and they're they're all in the car.
Yeah.
And Pinta's got the Indian music playing, and they're like, "Can you turn it down?" And they're like basically implying that Cable's racist. He's like, "It's not."
Just wanted the music turned down, not necessarily. Not
Just little
necessarily.
stuff like that I found hysterical.
So can we talk about the other really kind of, I don't even call it fake out. And this may be another Mandela moment that I'm having. I remember them advertising this and they kind of leaned into the X-Force thing a little bit, didn't they? Does anybody else remember? And so you went to the movie expecting to see the team in action. And what happens? Spoilers, guys.
I think that was kind of a joke, is that they all the joke.
Yeah.
Oh, that's the other thing he goes back and fixes. He saves Peter.
Oh, yeah. He tells Peter, walk away, man.
Go home. Just walk away. Yeah. That's what he saves him. Not all the other guys. Not all the other guys.
Nope, the other ones he lets die. So what we have Vanisher, played by Brad Pitt for all of like 7 seconds.
It's not even. It's like 3 frames.
Yeah, 3 frames. We have Skarsgård. We have the Skarsgård kid, Bill, I think, as the one that vomits acid or whatever he vomits. We have Peter,
who has no powers whatsoever.
Who has no powers at all. We have Ponytail Dude.
Oh yeah,
I can't think of. Starts with S.
Star or something.
Star Scream. No, not Star Scream.
Hang on, I'll get it. Shatterstar. Thank you, Shatterstar. And we got Domino. Am I missing anybody?
No,
and don't forget.
And Terry Crews. Terry Crews plays
from Brooklyn Nine-Nine.
And it's a great lineup. It's great actors. It's a great lineup. You're like, oh, he's getting the team together. Okay. And
Zeitgeist.
High wind advisory.
High wind advisory. They all end up dying. So the Brad Pitt thing was funny because Brad Pitt had wanted to kind of dip his toe into the superhero.
They were looking at him
that whole genre and see, and he got enough feel for it. And I guess a lot of people were upset that you took, one of Hollywood's biggest stars and you put him in 3 frames of the movie.
He was down for it.
And that's what I thought that was hysterical, because everybody knew it was Brad Pitt when he got electrocuted.
Yeah.
Because that's the only time you saw Vanisher.
Yeah.
Everybody else died horribly.
I heard Brad was down. I heard because he was being looked at for cable, and then he didn't get cable, so he was like, all right, whatever. And then Ryan was like, hey, you want to come do it? And he worked for Scale, and since he worked for I think 30 minutes, and there's only like 7 minutes of footage of him, and that was it. And he didn't hardly.
You only saw him when he got electrocuted.
You only see him when he gets electrocuted.
Like 3, not even 2 seconds. He's done. That's it.
It was cute. And Bill is saying, MB, good idea for future sci-fi distilled Mandela moments for a film. You know what? It's not so much Mandela, it's just I have a bad memory.
No, you were right about the trailer. They did kind of upplay the X-Force.
So you kind of walked in, expecting a team, an ensemble.
It ended up just being him and Domino.
It ended up being him and Domino, who I love. I love Domino. I want to see more of Domino.
I love her name, Zazzy. What the heck?
Zazie Beetz.
Zazie Beetz. So
Zazie Beetz. I don't even know what else she's done.
Oh, well, the one thing I do know, she was in Atlanta, which was a Glover.
Yeah, Donald
Glover.
Yeah. Childish Gambino.
Also, that one is on Hulu, I think. It's a really good show. It has some really bizarre episodes, like just weird stuff going on. You have to just watch it. She kind of plays his girlfriend, but she's been in a bunch of other stuff. She was in something else recently too. What did I see her in? Let me look at her. Zazzy. I love that.
Love it.
I hope that's her real name and not a stage name. Oh, apparently she voices Invincible.
Oh.
She does the girlfriend, Amber.
Oh, really? Oh, okay.
Yep. She plays another voice on Big Mouth, which is a really funny story. She was in Black Mirror. You were telling me about
that one. Yeah.
What else is she in? It's funny, I don't see her listed in Atlanta, and I know she's in that. Deadpool 2.
Mary Beth Moments. Yeah, Bill, we could have I could have a 2-hour show of Mary Beth Moments because I
have them too. Robot Chicken, apparently.
Oh, Robot Chicken. Oh, that's awesome. I love when actors do a bunch of
voice. Oh, yeah, there it is, Atlanta.
Yeah.
2016,
That's
2022, 30 episodes.
Anyway, I think this was her first action thing. I'm not sure, but I think this was her first action, and she was amazing. I would be down for like an entire Domino movie.
Well,
I
her
really
superpower is just luck.
She's luck.
So she can
But
just
she
do anything.
weaponizes luck. She's not just lucky. She like somehow like weaponizes it. Like she
she can do anything and she's not going to get hurt. Like no matter what she does.
Yeah.
You know, like the whole thing with the trucks flipping around her and they're all
flipping around her. She walks out. She finally falls out the thing and lands.
Remember, that was the whole thing when, because Deadpool does these little interviews as he was interviewing people for X-Force, and she comes in. He's like, "Luck, that's not a superpower." He's like, "Yes, it is." You know, it's not. Yes, it is.
Yeah, it was. It was a superpower.
When they're going after the prison truck, she gets there way ahead of him. She's like, I'm in. She's like, how are you? He's like, how are you in? He's on the scooter.
Are you in already?
He's down on the scooter.
She's like, I'm just lucky.
Which brings up another great scene is when he goes up against Cable in the truck. Cable pulls out the gun, starts shooting, and he cuts the first bullet in half with his sword. And then he starts to do this like Jedi thing where he's going to deflect, and he only deflects like half the bullets. And
this motion of him doing that with the swords, he did as the other Deadpool in Wolverine when he had no mouth. He did that and deflected them all. But he's just doing the movement again, except this time, no deflection. He actually gets shot.
The thing was, I think it was the stunt guy that had come up with the idea that some of them would get through. The director didn't like it, but when Ryan saw it or heard about it, he's like, "Oh no, that's hysterical. We're leaving that in." That they had the bullet end up hitting him. Because it's funny. He's like, "Oh no, it's too funny for a serious scene." And I'm like, "Are you kidding me? Nothing is serious in this.
There's nothing serious in Deadpool.
Nothing serious here, folks."
Yeah.
Even his death, even when he dies or is supposed to die, you know, the music they're playing was the same music they used when Wolverine died.
Yeah.
And of course, it takes that's the longest scene. It takes him like 10 minutes to
die, and he keeps talking, and he
kind of it's so hard to go. It's
so hard to go. I just don't want to. Oh, so anyway, here you can have my wristwatch. The thing about the stunts and stuff on this particular movie, the director, whose name I should look up, his background was as a stuntman and a stunt coordinator. That's kind of where he started. And so for the most part, that served, Chris, that served this movie very, very well, except there was one horrible mishap where a stunt woman died on this movie. And so it did shut down production for a couple of days. They did get fined for failing to provide something safety related. I don't know. So that is one kind of little mar. You may have noticed it in the credits if you were hanging around waiting for some post-credit scenes. It does say for her name was Joy Harris. It was like Sonequa Harris, an S name, Sonequa or something Harris, and it said for her. So that was kind of sad. But other than that, the stunts on this thing were like next level. They did a really great job. And again, it kind of goes back to that budget thing where they were like, you know what, let's do everything that we can in camera. Let's do everything that we can practical because it ends up being cheaper than trying to CGI like every single thing. Although one of the funniest
when Juggernaut and Colossus start fighting, here's going to be an epic CGI fight scene.
Yep, that's exactly what I was going to say. He does like CGI battle coming, and you don't even care. Like, but then you're just laughing, and you're like, okay, yeah, and you roll with it.
Because I mean, that's the thing we know as moviegoers that this
we know it's all CGI.
Those two characters are not real people. They can't be really fighting. Certainly not Juggernaut. I mean, and even Colossus, he's metal. So, that was a good scene. That was a good fight. And I think it's hysterical how they ended up taking out Juggernaut in the.
Yes.
Remember how they did that? That was pretty funny. You do see him at the very, very end after they're walking away of him climbing out of the pool.
Yeah. Yes, so, he is kind of starting to climb out, which sort of, they don't say to be continued or anything, but it definitely implies that he survived and he's still out there to wreak havoc another day. Let's just talk about, we already mentioned Brad Pitt as Vanisher. There were a couple other great cameos in this thing. Did you notice Matt Damon and Alan Tudyk as those two rednecks who were sitting on the back of the truck?
When Cable first shows up.
Yeah, Cable like beams in or whatever. Yeah.
Alan was much harder to pick out. I thought Matt was easier to pick out of the makeup.
See, Alan looked like Alan to me.
Really?
He still looked like Alan. Matt was under a lot of
makeup. That's everyone thinking. I'm like, I knew that was Matt Damon, like that, and that was something Matt Damon wanted to do. Like he was the one who suggested it. Yeah. So,
that's fantastic. Yeah.
but yeah, that's a funny scene too. And they're talking. Of course, he takes off in the truck, and that's very rednecky.
Yeah.
America, the beer. So, but yeah, that there's a lot. Yeah, there's more cameos.
There are other cameos.
Let's go
I'm
back.
just trying to pull it up. We already mentioned a couple of them. Actually, Peter was a cameo technically, I guess, and so was Terry Crews because you know what I mean. Like
yeah, because they had been in other stuff. Yeah,
yeah. It was Louis Tan as Shatterstar, Bill Skarsgård. That's another cameo as Zeitgeist. Comedian Rob Delaney as Peter. There were a few others, but there are people who I don't know who they are. It says Robert Milet appears briefly as Sluggo, an inmate at the Icebox. Don't know who he is. Also mentions Dakota Shepley, Omega Red, and Haley Sales. All extra people who had Icebox or extra cameos. I have no idea who any of those people are.
no.
So I'm like excited this will happen. I don't know who they are.
Because I don't know if you remember, they had a Christmas version of this.
Oh.
They did do a Christmas version. It was basically the same movie. I think they toned down some of the language. I didn't see it, but it's basically him saying to Fred Savage, telling the story to Fred Savage.
Oh yes. And Fred's in the bed. Yes.
Yeah, Fred's in the bed.
Yeah.
So that was the Christmas version that came out around Christmas time of 20. This came out in 2018. I want to say it was either Christmas time of 2018 or 2019. I didn't see it because once I found out it was basically the same movie, just with a little bit of editing to it. But Fred Savage is in that one. So there's
they're kind of do a little takeoff on Princess Bride.
Yeah.
But keep going with the cameos. We had James McAvoy as Professor X, Nicholas Hoult as Beast, Evan Peters as Quicksilver. I really enjoy Evan Peters as Quicksilver. Ty Sheridan as Cyclops, Alexandra Shipp as Storm, Cody Smith-McPhee as Nightcrawler, and archive footage of Hugh Jackman as Logan. So yeah. Oh, and of course, what movie is? It's not a superhero or an MCU movie without Stan Lee. He was unable to cameo in the movie, but when you see Domino kind of parachuting or paragliding in, she goes past this building and there's a massive mural of Stan Lee on the side of the building.
Yeah, because I think had he died by this point?
He hadn't died yet, but he wasn't well, and he'd been cutting down on his going out and doing stuff. So I think they did ask him. I don't remember the little blurb I read, but
yeah, I'm trying to think of what else. So there's a lot of stuff.
Do we want to just start talking about the millions and millions and millions of references in this thing? There's 1 million. We'll never get them all.
No, there is a bunch. Yeah, you could spend. He does reference a lot of the stuff.
The knob goes to 11. He calls Nigga Sonic 11 when she's fixing the thing. Yeah. He calls what's his name, One-Eyed Willie. There's an Ace Ventura reference. He calls Dopinder Goose. He's talking about Passion of the Christ. He's wearing the same. Oh, in the little baby leg scene, isn't he not wearing the same shirt as in Goonies as what's his name, Chunk wore in Goonies?
You might be right. I don't know that.
Die Harder. There's a reference to Alpha Flight, who are the Canadian X-Men. Wolverine was briefly a member. He says, "I'm Batman," which really cracks me up because I love me some good DC MCU crossover.
Yeah.
He goes, "Shut up, Black Widow," to Domino. He's like, "Who did this? A guy who can't draw feet." That is a direct reference to Rob Liefeld, the guy who drew all of this in the comics.
Yeah.
Rob is notorious.
It's the same shirt Chunk wore in Goonies that he was wearing. Yeah. I didn't even catch that one.
Yeah. Rob is notorious for not being able to draw feet. There's a sun's getting real low when they're trying to.
Yeah, sun's going down. That's a Hulk reference.
Yeah, that's a Hulk reference.
Down, big guy. Sun's going down. That's what they kept saying to the Hulk.
I'm pretty sure he calls Josh Brolin Thanos at one point. They did show. You know why they complete? Oh, here's the little blurb. Terry Crews said in an interview, and this is why I'm misremembering how they marketed this thing, and I thought it was going to be an X-Force movie, and it wasn't. Terry Crews says they deliberately shot extra scenes, just literal like that were not in the movie, and they were strictly for teaser trailers and for trailers.
Which is not uncommon to do that.
No, it's not uncommon. You always see stuff in the trailer that you don't see in the
trailers that ends up not being in the The other thing I liked is when of course when he's trying to kill himself, he sets the little music box and it's the Wolverine.
It's Wolverine, yeah.
He's always got a thing with Wolverine, which again is going to lead us into 3, obviously, because it's going to be him and Hugh Jackman. I still think that's going to be unbelievably epic. At least
I think so too.
We will for Deadpool 3.
When we're winding down tonight, I want to just talk to you guys. I want to talk to you, Rizzo, and I want to talk to everyone out there and just give me your predictions. What do you think is going to go down in Deadpool 3? Because I am so pumped for this movie. Did you think those first moments of the film when he fights everybody and then he's running for Dopinder's in the car and he's running for the car and he's going, start the car. Was that not later Raiders of the Lost Ark?
It was very much like Route Raiders. Yeah, it could have been. I'm not sure if that was directly taken from that, but it had that same feel. Like start the car. Which is funny because I'm like, why are you running? You just like went and massacred a bunch, and now you're running from.
But they were all chasing them. There's like a whole bunch of them.
I know, but it's like you can take all these bullets and not die. So why don't you just?
I think so with Vanessa, I think there was a Superman reference in there, and they talk about Star Wars too, and Yentl. Which is kind of funny because Yentl, you guys know that Barbara is Josh's stepmom. Like you guys know that, right?
Well, the funniest thing was he's 100% right. So the joke is that Frozen, Do You Want to Build a Snowman is the same exact song that's from Yentl.
Can you want to build a snowman?
You're right. It is right. He's absolutely right, and you can't unhear it.
Yeah, no, you can't.
If you go back and watch Frozen, I don't have to because I don't have a small child anymore. It is that song. You're like,
what? You don't watch it just for fun?
No, I don't watch Frozen for fun. I watched it, I think, once because I sat with her and watched it, and I was like, somebody kill me. But yeah, it is. It's like directly ripped off from Yentl.
Yeah, it's pulled straight out. Yeah.
Well, there was something that said something about Barbra Streisand about rock and roll. It's like she's not rock and roll. If it's American, it's rock and roll. Was that from this movie? Oh, no.
I don't remember it being in this movie. Maybe it was.
I don't remember. I love his interactions with Colossus though, because they're so. Because Colossus, very at the end, he said even he's dying, he's trying to get him. He's like, say fuck, because he never swears. Colossus.
Well, and Colossus finally says,
"What a potty mouth!
You're potty mouth. You're going to hell."
You go to hell.
So they looked at. I'm going to talk about some of the casting here because they were looking at Kyle Chandler for Cable. We didn't know. They look at Michael Shannon. Interesting. For if you know who Michael Shannon is for Cable, and they looked at David Harbour. Between Michael Shannon and David Harbour, I would 100% be like, oh yeah, David Harbour could handle that. I mean, I think he really could.
We've seen people could have been Cable. I think Josh did a really good job. Of course, he was Thanos, so you know.
Yeah, but he had to bulk up. He actually had to work out and bulk up to be Cable, whereas Thanos, I've heard him in interviews say. I was kind of in shape, but I was just wearing a mocap suit. So I didn't really have to bulk up or really be in super excellent shape. But for Cable, he had to be in super excellent shape. And he did it. He did the work and went to the gym and did his thing. But I could see David Harbour doing it. I mean, we saw David Harbour as Hellboy, and we saw David Harbour as Black Widow's fake dad, whose name I can't remember, in the Black Widow movie.
No, I don't remember.
Yeah. Anyway, I think David Harbour could have done it. For the girls, they were looking at for Domino, Mary Elizabeth Winstead, maybe Sienna Miller, Sophia Boutella. Jayla, we know her as Jayla in the Star Trek movie. A couple others. Aubrey Plaza auditioned for it. I don't think Aubrey could have brought that special level of dry sarcasm.
She might have pulled off Domino.
She might have pulled it off. Yeah.
Yeah. So you're actually redeemed. I just found it. Deadpool fails to murder baby Hitler, opting instead to change his soiled diaper.
But
Is
when is that just released
cut
to YouTube?
only. It's in the super duper cut only at 2 hours and 5 minutes in.
I don't. Maybe I did.
So apparently, it was in one version of this film. So you were not crazy. I did not even know that one. I have to go find the super duper cut now.
I don't.
Maybe that was just on Blu-ray or something.
I didn't think I watched a super duper cut, but maybe I did at some point. It's all a blur. Look, kids, by the time you get to this age, life's a blur. I might have watched it. Who knows? I really think I saw this thing in the theater, though. And I feel like I remember it from the theater.
I did, but I don't remember it. I don't remember that scene in the theater. I'll ask the person I went with.
There are a number of cut scenes. There's a bunch of cut stuff. So
yeah, I don't remember it, honestly. Does anybody else remember that scene from where he's gonna kill baby Hitler but change the diaper instead? So
yeah, all the end credit scenes, guys, if you're interested in any of just watching those, they are all on YouTube, including an extended version of his interaction with Wolverine. Because he doesn't just kill his other Deadpool self and say hi and move on. He actually, in the extended cut, he says, now look, man, pretty soon you're going to hang up your claws, and that's really going to make a lot of people really, really sad. But your old friend Wade is going to come and say, can you jump in the saddle one last time? And you're going to say yes. And looking at that, I'm like, did they actually film that like in 2017?
Well, what they did was for Hugh Jackman's part, they actually went back to the dailies.
They pulled footage.
They pulled footage from the dailies from that Wolverine movie so that they could get longer cuts of him looking then they're just pulling it from the original movie. I would almost think that they must have had it in mind for this next movie.
That's what I'm wondering. Like, were they already thinking ahead?
I mean, there's just always been this kind of connection with these two characters. So it seems it's a logical progression that we're going to see them, of course, in this third movie. And it's pretty much the two of them. And the coolest thing, again, if you haven't seen the trailer, Wolverine's in his X-Men comic book yellow and blue classic uniform. So that's really cool. Not the black one that we've seen in the movies, but the original traditional comic book one and the one from the 90s cartoon and stuff like that. So we're going to see him in that outfit. It looks very good.
Yeah.
The basic premise, I guess, is that Hugh Jackman, the Wolverine's universe has been destroyed, and the same thing's going to happen to Deadpool's. And he goes and gets Wolverine to try to save his parallel universe. More multiverse stuff.
In those post-credit scenes, Reynolds has a line like, "Don't mind me, I'm just cleaning the timelines up." I think that's what he says to the Hugh Jackman character.
Well, they're going to bring in the Loki. What is it?
They're going to bring in Loki. So yeah, I think they picked up on it's like they took that one line.
They're going to go through. So the prediction is, I think they're going to go through, not only save his particular universe timeline, but go ahead and fix all the things that at least Ryan Reynolds.
I predict that too. I actually would
wrong.
Yeah. What I actually think is going to happen, and guys, I would love to hear your predictions if you have the patience to type it all out. I want to read your predictions in the comments. But what I think is, so Deadpool has Cable's time jump around thing, right? So I think he's been bouncing around doing stuff, and he screwed the timeline up. So they may send, I don't know, either the characters we remember from Loki or new people to come get him and say, stop messing with that. You got to fix it all. And then, what you were just saying, Rizzo, that now he's going to go through and fix the Marvel timeline and maybe get rid of a few things that we didn't like, such as that horrible Deadpool.
Right, that was a bad version.
And a few other things that we were like, that didn't really work. Which is really interesting, a fascinating way that a studio or a franchise can completely revamp itself to regain, support from its audience. That's fascinating. I hope that's what it is.
We'll see. I mean, I don't know if any of you guys say it. Like you said, certainly the trailers are available online for the third movie.
Yeah,
they are
all out there.
So good. I mean, certainly we've been disappointed in the past when we see trailers for something.
We have. That's true. And yeah, Bill just said, fix the timeline. Could that be a false lead for the trailers? Yes, of course it could. They could be leading us astray.
Again, that would be something they would do to kind of do that bait and switch kind of a thing. Whatever it is, I'm sure it's going to be entertaining, because the first two movies were great.
Yes.
They're watchable, especially the first one's another first one. We've talked about this before, movies that will be on and you'll just kind of pick them up from wherever and watch it. And this is Deadpool. The original movie is definitely falls into this one to some degree as well. I can just pick it up and watch it. It's funny. It's entertaining at any point. And I really think it's those fourth wall breaks that really
agree. It's just irreverent.
Like the cherry on top or whatever, you know what I'm saying, to me, that really makes the whole thing.
He's just funny as hell, and like just some of his quips. And I hate superhero, like there's movies where they don't work, the dumb quips, but these work brilliantly.
Because he's doing it, he knows he's being ridiculous. You know what I'm saying? And that's part of what it is. And the thing about the character is he's a very dark character, but he has this very strong moral compass where he does what he thinks is the right thing. He doesn't necessarily do it in the right way to fix it by just killing people, but he knows,
he says it in the movie. He's like, sometimes you gotta fight dirty. Yeah, he says it to Colossus.
Using these kids, he was like, okay, you're all done. I'm just gonna kill you.
Yeah,
that kind of thing. So it even went before, like in the first movie, before he became Deadpool, he was doing kind of these little jobs. Remember, he just went after the, help the girl.
Yeah, that's right.
Guy was stalking this girl, and he just like, yeah, don't worry about it. You don't have to pay me, kind of thing. Just to do the right thing.
Yeah.
So, of course, we never did find out. Was it the reference to what happened in Jacksonville? Where he kept making reference when he was in the special forces.
Oh, I don't remember that. But you do the right thing.
They have a really good TGI Fridays in Jacksonville, Florida. There's some kind of op in Jacksonville, Florida that we don't know about that is top secret.
That's funny. I remember that. Yeah, no, the do the right thing.
The first movie.
Yeah, that was the first movie. He has that conversation with Colossus in this movie because Colossus is very by the book. Like they actually show Colossus like hanging out at the mansion, reading the rule book for fun.
Right. Well, he does that whole, 1 or 2 moments, whatever.
Yes. It's all it takes.
He starts to do that whole speech, every day you're not a hero. That's when he ends up shooting the 2 guys in the head.
Yeah. And Deadpool basically said, like, yeah, we're gonna do the right thing, but sometimes you gotta fight dirty. And unfortunately, that probably is true in real life.
Right.
So yeah.
Yeah, he's right.
Yeah.
But
Chris's
prediction. He's got this, he's like this, what is it? It's just like he's not evil, but he's definitely has a bad side to him, but he has a moral compass that he kind of sticks to for the most part.
He does, yeah. Chris's prediction is that I think he's gonna bring everything into the MCU. Do you mean like all the X-Men and stuff, Chris? Oh, come back, Vanisher, you've disappeared. From the scene where they both make the Doctor Strange sling ring times jump. He and Wolverine, they make the ring and they jump in. Are you still there or am I gone? What's happening? It's the MV show now. Rizzo's gone. Okay, so what else do you guys want to talk about? So yeah, some of our predictions for Deadpool 2 kind of based on what we've seen in the trailers. And we have seen, there's the one shot where the female baddie comes out of a dead, what looks like an Ant-Man. And there's people on YouTube that like go and do the work of I'm still here, so I'm going to keep talking, of like actually comparing stuff. I guess there's a dead Ant-Man and there's a skeleton. He says just nothing but a skeleton. They actually looked at the skeleton's teeth and then they looked at Paul Rudd's teeth, and it's his teeth. So let's see. Rizzo's talking at me, so let's see. Oh, he had a little power jump. He'll be back in a minute. He'll get back on this stream in a second. So we think we're going to see, someone tweeted a picture of what's his name who plays Hulk on that set, not as Hulk, So we don't know, is he just visiting the set or is he there to do work? We don't know. And then there's another shot where you can see all these X-Men, like, oh, Rizzo's back. Hey, you can see all these X-Men.
We've had some power jumps here, so I'm glad that
that's okay. We've had weird weather and as hot. Yeah, Rizzo went to the MCU real quick. As hot as it's been, I'm surprised there haven't been more brownouts and stuff because I know everyone's cranking up their AC.
Yeah, it just blinked for just enough to cause my computer to reboot.
Yeah. So yeah, Bill says the same thing, that he predicts it'll be Deadpool jumping through all the Disney universes and writing what went wrong.
Yeah, I don't know.
Mark Ruffalo. Yeah, thanks to it is Mark Ruffalo.
But I think it's going to be the Marvel stuff.
I think it is too. I think it's going to tie X-Men in too more, like tie them more firmly.
I think what he needs to do though, he needs to go into Frozen and fix the. Do you want?
Okay, technically,
I think that would be Disney? If they allowed him to do that would be epic.
That would be epic. It would be epic. A little animated Deadpool. I think we're also going to see some timeline, some Deadpool variants in this. Like, I think we might see Lady Deadpool. I think we might see a couple different Deadpools. I think there's a dog Deadpool.
Well, it's kind of what they did in Loki, right? There were all the different
there's variants. All these variants running around.
Yeah. So I think what you're gonna and I think we're gonna they're definitely tying in the whatever that organization is in Loki. I forgot what it's called.
The TVA.
The TVA. So I think you're going to see that for sure as a focal point. And you're right. I think you're probably right. They're going to force him to fix what he screwed up.
Yeah.
So.
Which wasn't, he didn't really screw up much.
Yeah.
He didn't screw anything up. They're the ones that screwed
Yeah.
They're the ones that screwed it up and made all of us go, oh, we don't want to watch superheroes anymore. We all have superhero.
Right. Yeah. So, it's just kind of we'll see what it's going to be. But I think, I might actually have to go like opening weekend.
Yeah, if we can get it, it's going to be, those tickets are going to sell out like that.
I don't know. You never know. I mean, the problem is it's going to have to be in August by the time I have time to do it.
Yeah, it's July 26th, and yes, you are running around like a crazy person in August. So, I mean, in July. So,
I got like one free weekend, and that's it.
All of us will go to Shatner, and then all of us will enjoy Deadpool like 2 weeks after that. I'm actually going to write it on my calendar right now. Yeah. Deadpool.
You can get the tickets online, get the Hooksett theater.
Although I haven't been to a theater. I went to a concert.
This would be my first time in the theater since COVID.
Yeah, mine too.
Since COVID, and even then I didn't go a lot.
I was I went to a concert the other night, and even that felt a little dicey.
And going to Vegas, that'll be the first time on a plane since 2019.
Ooh, I would recommend masking on a plane, to be honest with you.
I mean,
planes are a little bit too enclosed with recycled air.
I will say that the air on an airplane is exchanged quite a bit.
And hopefully there's filters and stuff, but you know.
My brother-in-law's a pilot, and he said that. He's like, the air in those cabins gets recycled a lot on a flight. So it's not like it's just stagnant. But you're right. You see how crowded it is, and
it's just a little too tight for me. Because you're really sitting, like, you know how they pack you in on a plane.
Shoulder to shoulder. I'm certainly not flying first class, that's for sure. Sue's asking what concert.
Chris says we have bad superhero fatigue, but good movies is another thing. And yeah, Chris, we are very hopeful that Deadpool and Wolverine will be a fantastic movie. Sue, what concert did I go to? I saw Alex Fiaggio sing with the Boston Gay Men's Chorus. He did a fabulous job.
Oh, there you go.
There you go. So anyway, back to Deadpool or Deadpool 3. Yeah, I was just saying while you disappeared and went bye-bye is that, they've dropped a couple trailers for that now. And if you guys are interested, go on YouTube. I can recommend a couple of channels where they dissect those trailers and like freeze frame them and look for all the
always Easter eggs in the trailers.
There's always
Easter always eggs are dropping little nuggets to try to see who figures out. And these YouTubers will literally, you're right, dissect these things down to every frame to what was in the background and all that side of things.
And they're like, okay, there's that character. And then they're starting ID characters. Like, okay, there's that character. There's that character. All right. And that. And next thing you know, and then they build these theories like, okay, this is
Yeah.
what's going to happen.
Right. This is what they think is going to happen. Yeah.
Yeah.
So if you haven't
And,
seen any
honestly,
of these movies, go see them. If you haven't seen the second one, certainly go see it. If you've seen the first and second one, I'm going to say it's probably worth going to see the theater to see the third one. They're always they've been entertaining, and they're probably the best. They have been the best superhero movies that have come out in a very long time.
Maybe closely followed by Iron Man, because Iron Man had that same kind of humor and irreverence.
Iron Man and
he didn't break the fourth wall.
And the first Guardians of the Galaxy.
And the Guardian, first for sure.
Well, the first one was, when that one came out, it wasn't expected to do as well as it did. It kind of was that one, like Marvel threw that one in there and was kind of a surprise because it was an obscure comic. It wasn't really one of their mainstream.
Yeah.
So they stuck it in there and it turned out to be a huge hit. So anyway. All right. I think we've probably hit almost the end of the hour there. So I don't know what we're going to do next week as usual.
Yeah, I don't know how we're going to wrap up.
We're always taking requests.
I asked Rizzo if we could do Green Lantern because I want you guys to all explain to me why it's horrible.
Do Green Lantern?
I don't think we have an hour's worth of material on Green Lantern.
I don't know if I got
unless you want to compare and contrast multiple Green Lanterns.
Well,
I meant to look up
this is the only film, and then there's been cartoons.
Yeah, that's true.
Did they do a second one?
I thought they did 2 live actions.
I want to say they did a second Green Lantern. Hey, Sarge, thanks for stopping by.
Hey, Sarge.
Yep. I don't know. Do you guys want us to do Green Lantern?
It's up to you guys. Or we'll pick something else.
Yeah, we'll come up with something. I don't know what, though.
And while you're thinking about it, I will just say that Roy is going to do the Wild Wild West.
Oh, what a great show!
Yeah, Friday.
That was one of my favorites.
21st.
I love steampunk when it wasn't even a thing, and that's definitely steampunk in my opinion.
Yeah. And then our friend Phil, he's actually off this week. He's doing his usual stuff. He'll do the Thursday afternoon. Tomorrow he'll do Thursday at noon, the politics with Bill McNulty, and then he'll do Friday night Freeform Friday night. I will let you guys know when Phil has the Captain Phil's Planet show up again next week and what he's doing with that.
Okay. All right. Well, on that note, give us, always you can always post on our page if you have suggestions for stuff you want us to do.
Green Lantern versus Green Hornet. I don't know about that. I did love the Green Hornet.
Was that the one with Seth Rogen? Is that the one?
Green Hornet was it Seth Rogen? No.
Seth Rogen was something in that light Green Hornet thing. I don't think I ever saw that one.
I don't think I did either. I thought it was. You know what? I have no idea. I thought it was Christopher Wallace was in it.
It was Seth Rogen. Thank you.
Was it Seth Rogen? Oh, you know who else was in it? David Harbour. Oh, and Cameron Diaz and Edward James Olmos. Well, that's a fascinating cast. Maybe we do need to do the Green Hornet versus the Green Lantern.
Green Hornet. Yeah. Well, I don't know how contrasty you, other than the fact that they both have green in the name.
They both have green. I'll just be the Green Knight.
Green Knight.
Green Knight. So, how does Seth Rogen do?
I don't know if I can sit to Green Lantern again.
I can't see. I don't know why everyone hates the Green Lantern. I thought it was okay.
I don't hate it. It's just not good.
It wasn't.
A lot of people like the CGI out uniform, like rather than
people didn't like the CGI costumes. Chris LaRoche said it was horrible. Wait, what was horrible? Green Hornet or Green Lantern?
I'm pretty sure he's talking about Green Lantern.
Lantern.
I don't know about how Green Hornet was today. So, all right. Well, on that note, we'll figure it out as we always do. Until then, always live long and prosper, and may the force be with you. Good night, folks. Thanks for joining us.
Stay cool.
Yeah, stay cool.